You don't know this?
Well, now I'm nervous. I'm getting nervous right now.
Just guess.
You said it was really hard.
Yeah, super hard.
What do you mean?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of Above the Rim, presented by Afterthought Sports. I'm here today with James Derrick. What up, man?
What's up? You know, we're in Cuse right now.
We're in Cuse. We're in my room. No Jack. So actually, that's totally my fault. Last night we went to go record this episode, and we got to Jack's house, and I had all the equipment that I thought I needed. No, I forgot an adapter, and I forgot a whole cable. So we did not get to record a full Above the Rim episode with Jack last night, and that is all my fault. But we do have some clips at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. There's some YouTube shorts that'll be going up that we recorded, so we did make some content, but it just wasn't a whole episode of Above the Rim, and that is all my fault.
Yeah, no, at least we got some clips out of it. It's fine.
Yeah, we got clips. So, I mean, can't really complain, but that was really stupid on my part. We get there and we go to record and we're like, oh yeah, we're all set. We'll record on this couch, it looks nice setting, all that. And I'm going to set up the mics, and as I'm setting up the mic, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I forgot. An adapter. My whole adapter right here. I forgot a cable for the mic after we went to the store and bought a cable. So this all could have been resolved. It put a hit on the night. It did, man.
Yeah, no, it really dampened the mood, and it was getting late, so we just recorded some shorts and called it a night after that. But
pretty much.
Now there's no Jack Haskell. Sorry.
Sorry, Jack. I'm sorry, everybody. Who probably loves watching Jack on these videos and all that stuff, but gotta move on, persevere. Just get an episode out for everybody to see, man.
Yeah, just something.
So we're kind of gonna do a shorter one today. We're not with Jack. We don't want to do all the best things that we had planned without Jack, because Jack is another co-host on the show, and we want to include him as much as we possibly can. So we're just gonna do headlines and talk about news from this past week in the NBA.
Yeah. And
then at the end, like I said, I'm gonna throw some clips of us doing some blind NBA player guessing, which are pretty funny.
Yeah, sure. You can.
Nah,
you can
they're pretty funny, dude.
Yeah, I know. You got me pretty good with a couple.
Yeah, I was going back watching them this morning, and I was just laughing.
You were playing mind games.
Oh, I was messing with you.
That wasn't even fair.
Actually, that should be out before this video even drops, to be honest with you. So check it out on the Instagram, Afterthought Sports. Shameless plug. Let's get into the episode. James, why don't you take it away? Bring up the first point, what you want to talk about.
So it's just a little bit of who's hot and who's not, and I think pretty much the number one team in the league that is the most hot on everyone's mind right now, that's the Lakers. They're clicking with Luka. They've won 8 of the last 10 now, Austin. And Luka, even in the last 3 games, finally finding that production that the Lakers might want from him. He's averaging 30, 9.7 assists, 5 rebounds a game in those last 3, just in the last 3. But overall, 8 and 10 with Luka. What's the biggest difference that you're seeing with this Lakers team so far that's making them so effective right now?
Their offense is completely different. They used Anthony Davis as we said many times before, a hub of the offense. But now there's no main post guy on the Lakers that can just go in there and do great post work and move the ball from the post. Now they have a guy like Luka Doncic who is very ball dominant, and he controls the offense. I think JJ Redick really wants him to do that, and you're seeing that complete change in their offensive scheme and what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're kind of just sharing the ball around the perimeter more, which is awesome. I mean, they have Luka drive and kick a lot to a wide open LeBron James, who's shooting the most efficient he ever has from the 3-point line this season. I think that's where and you talked about this yesterday, you and I off camera, we were saying, probably that's where LeBron is going to traject towards for the rest of his career, just being that really efficient shooter. He gets better and better every single year with that 3-point shot.
Yeah, I mean, the shot continues to progress. I would have never expected to see that LeBron is going to have this kind of 3-point shooting numbers at this stage in his career.
Insane.
Maybe I guess I should have expected it, but I think he'll start to take more and more threes, but it definitely doesn't take away, his age. It doesn't take away from the fact that he likes to get out and transition, and him and Luka are both some of the best transition, starters in the league. They start breaks, and LeBron is great at leaking out on those breaks. You see at least once a game a full court pass for a dunk or a layup on the other end from Luka to LeBron. So, that's definitely a main part of their offense that they want to keep. But, it's also been the movement of people off ball. There's no one clogging the paint anymore. And I think we've seen Jackson Hayes really progress into that lob threat, that Aaron Gordon prototype of player. And that's what the Lakers really want, is if they can get the ball into the lane where it's not so clogged anymore. He's just roaming the baseline, and Vando and Reeves, they've all become great cutters too. So it's like you got LeBron and Luka, they just pick it apart.
It was crazy when I was watching that Pelicans game. I turned the Phoenix Suns game off because they were down by like 20 some odd points, and it was really bad in that first 3 quarters of that game. And then I watched the Lakers instead because I'm like, all right, Luka and LeBron, like, why wouldn't I watch this team? I throw it on, and Luka's just doing Luka. He hit 3 threes in a row at one point. He's doing step backs, deep threes from the logos. But the thing that I noticed more than anything was the amount of lobs thrown to Jackson Hayes in that Pelicans game, because they are not the greatest big man rotation in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a rookie starting at center, or second-year guy. I'm not sure if it's a rookie or a second-year guy. I believe it's a rookie.
And Zion dunked all over him.
Zion dunked all over that rando Lakers center. I don't even know what his name is. And oh my gosh,
it was
crazy.
A sight to behold. Like, you can tell that there definitely are going to be some times where they're going to have problems with protecting the rim on someone who just attacks really well, like a Giannis or Zion Williamson. They had issues with, but they had to stop him from getting to the launch pad, which is just really anywhere around the hoop and
anywhere in the paint.
And Zion was just getting there anyways. He was getting fouled a lot.
Yeah, he was. It's just crazy. The Lakers defense, even, like, they seem more versatile on defense, which is so weird because they had Anthony Davis on their team. Mm-hmm. But like, the movement in the defense is a lot different than it was before. They kind of used to have Anthony Davis, honing the middle, being that big guy down low to defend the paint. And now they don't really have that anymore. So they're kind of using their small size and their speed to play defense, which is a better scheme for them. It seems to be working out because they've been a lot better defensively. And JJ Redick has made an entire new game plan, offense and defense, for this team. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, relying on speed and athleticism is going to be, a way different defense than what you were initially playing. And, it's got to be a lot more sharp, because if you're going to rely on speed and athleticism, that means you are where the offense wants to be before the offense can get there. That's crazy. That's what you're relying on. So you have to know what they're doing, to a certain level, prevent it, and then, stay one step ahead of them pretty much the whole possession. And so far, JJ Redick has them doing that, which is why, I think some people are now echoing him for Coach of the Year a little bit more. I'm not sure if I'm behind it just yet, but we'll see.
Last episode, that was a big debate. I said JJ Redick deserves to be in the Coach of the Year conversation. He definitely does. The Lakers are sitting at the 2 seed right now.
If they keep, we made that disclaimer. If they're going to keep climbing, who's to not throw his name in there?
It was only a week ago when I said that.
I guess,
It's pretty good. Jack did not like that take. But then again,
Jack doesn't like anyone's takes besides his own.
Yeah. And if they're not about the Boston Celtics saying something good about him, he doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just the Lakers doing well right now in the West. It's also the Warriors. They're humming along. They've won 9 of their last 11.
Insane.
Curry has had a bit of a spike in production. He's up to 29 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 4.5 rebounds in his last 10 games with the Warriors. The addition of Jimmy Butler maybe taking some of the pressure off of him and letting him play make a little more, right? What do you think here?
They're sliding in at the 6th seed right now. They're avoiding the play-in. Nathan Donnelly took them to take that 6th spot a few weeks ago. I unfortunately took the Dallas Mavericks, who have just crumbled since, like literally crumbled.
Mm-hmm.
Every player just seems to be getting hurt for them.
Yeah.
But the Golden State Warriors, I mean, you had Jimmy Butler. Like I said, he's a difference maker, man. Like Jimmy Butler, regardless of anything off of the court, yeah, whatever. It happened. We've seen it before, and we've seen what happens when he gets on his new team. He is an instant impact player for any given team that he joins. I mean, you see it with Philadelphia. Philadelphia only lost that year because of Kawhi Leonard's shot.
Which was a ridiculous shot.
Ridiculous shot. Got to give it to him. One of the greatest shots of all time. I mean, the bounce goes in. Oh my God.
Is this the dagger? Great call, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a great call. You saw he took Minnesota to the playoffs when he was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He elevated Chicago when they drafted him in a few years in. And then when he went to Miami, he took them to their first NBA Finals appearance since LeBron. And twice. Goes to Golden State. 9 of the last 11, Golden State was in the play-in before he got there, and now they're the 6th seed.
Yeah.
Come on, man. The proof is in the pudding. Jimmy Butler's a winner.
Yeah. And I think this can kind of unlock that, top 10 NBA player in Curry, right? Because I remember midseason, I had him outside my top 10 because, quite frankly, although he has tremendous effect off the ball because he gets a lot of attention, I know that. The stats weren't translating. He wasn't shooting as well as he usually does. The scoring wasn't there. And now he's got someone else by his side, someone else who can, attract some attention themselves in Jimmy Butler. And now the scoring's opened up. And when you see Curry back into that conversation where he's top 10 in the league and he's getting clean looks, that's when he's dangerous, too.
That's when he's dangerous. It's also taking a load off of the defensive end for Steph. I mean, you got a guy like Jimmy Butler who can go out and literally hold the best player on the other team to like 10 points if need be. Jimmy Butler is that good of a defender when it comes to, just clamping someone up. I mean, Steph Curry, he's not known for his defense. He can defend, but that's a lot less energy that he now has to spend on defense compared to before Jimmy Butler got there. It's pretty cool. I love Jimmy Butler on the Warriors. It's a good vibes. He seems to love it there. They're winning games.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, they're not the only team in the West winning games.
No.
There's, as we talked about, the Lakers. The Warriors have been winning. The Kings are also not doing too bad themselves, winning 7 of their last 11 since acquiring Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine, dude.
Zach LaVine, dude. They've been lighting the beam. I think maybe I've been ignoring them a little bit too much, right? We were talking about who's going to get in that 6th seed, avoid the play-in. Right now it's the Warriors, but the Kings aren't even that far behind, and it's still a tight race in there.
It's crazy. Zach LaVine is the most recent Player of the Week winner, averaging 28 last week for the Sacramento Kings. He exploded one night for 40-some-odd points for the Kings. It was unreal. The Kings look good. I mean, you gave away De'Aaron Fox, and he's doing great in San Antonio, but hey, what you got in return? They're producing and they're winning you games. That's almost like a win-win trade, kind of like the Halliburton Sabonis. Kind of reminds me of it. It's a little bit of a different feel because De'Aaron Fox was their franchise guy.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a little different, but they're playing great with him. Zach LaVine seems to be shining in his role in Sacramento, and he's back with DeMar DeRozan, his boy, and Domantas Sabonis is just elevating Zach LaVine exactly how the Kings envisioned that to happen when they made that trade. So the West is going to be insane, man.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, with the Houston Rockets, they haven't been winning recently, but they're still in the mix as well. And then you got the Memphis Grizzlies. The Mavericks are going to be out of that probably now with Kyrie being out for the season with a torn ACL. Anthony Davis is saying he might miss the season, be shut down by his team in camp. It's insane.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to talk about that for a little bit, so the Mavericks, they're in shambles right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they make, a trade that everyone questions, first of all, and if anyone backs it up, they say, well, hold on. If Anthony Davis is healthy and he does this and that.
Yeah.
He's not healthy. So you also have Kyrie going down, ACL torn. Shoots his free throws. That was kind of inspiring.
Oh, that was some legendary stuff right there.
But
that was cool.
They're both hurt. Both of their stars are hurt. So the Mavericks are inevitably going to fall. What does this mean for the Suns? The Suns aren't in it right now. They are out of it.
Dude, don't even get me going on the Phoenix Suns. That was an awesome game against the Clippers. They were down by 23 entering the fourth quarter, came back, won. Biggest comeback in franchise history entering the fourth. They cannot guard anyone. They can't rebound. They can't guard anyone. They don't even really show effort most of the time on defense. It's really annoying to watch. There was a point during the game where the broadcasters literally said, "This Suns defense is pathetic," and I turned the game off because I agreed.
Van Gundy was ripping the Suns defense apart.
Van Gundy was killing the defense, or the Suns defense. He was ripping them apart, just kind of roasting them the whole second, third quarter because it was bad. I mean, it was like 91-68 at one point against the Clippers at home. That should never happen. We have Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker on the same team, except nobody communicates. Nobody really tries the whole game. Nobody rebounds.
I know you got a lot of veterans, but could this be a case where all you got to do is sneak in with this team and maybe in the playoffs they just try a lot harder? And I mean, right? I mean, what do you have hope? I mean,
that's what you should
imagine,
right? That's what you would imagine would happen. I don't see a world where they miss the play-in, to be completely honest with you. I mean, they're going to gather enough games to beat out Portland for that play-in spot. I would hope.
Or the Spurs.
Or the Spurs. Considering Wemby's also out. I mean, there's a million scenarios where they just don't even make it. And there's a million scenarios where they do make it. It's hard for me to picture a world where they don't make the play-in tournament.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant missing the playoffs is just weird. Like, that's just wrong. It almost seems wrong. I mean, when has he missed the playoffs in his career?
Rarely,
exactly.
Ever, yeah.
I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to the world of basketball. It comes down to rebounding and defense, and that's something the Suns team just can't do, and they struggle a lot with. And effort. Effort's a massive thing.
You can't be struggling with effort and be a team that's going to do anything in the playoffs. Because you know it is about also being mentally tough and having to go through that for the entire season. And if you're not trying your hardest defensively the whole season, you can't just really flip it on like a switch.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works.
You know, I'm sure the Houston Rockets wish they could flip their bad stretch on a switch right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10, but if you look at their last 15, they're 5-10, right? So they're going 500 in their last 10, 5-10 in their last 15. They're barely getting by the Houston Rockets, and this was a team that was near the top of the West for the longest of times, and now they're falling, right? If you look at the West standings, they're at 5 right now. The Warriors are 1 game behind them. The Rockets could easily be entering themselves into play-in contention. You know, there are multiple teams that upgraded at the deadline, or at least did something at the deadline in the West that were in that play-in tournament spot. The Kings, notably, are a team that I'm looking at, or even the Timberwolves, although they didn't upgrade. They've been playing better as of late. Could we see another team climb out of the play-in and swap with the Rockets if the Rockets continue to play this poorly?
My pick would be the LA Clippers.
You think
Harden
the
is on a tear. He just dropped the first ever 50 bomb in Intuit Dome last night. Harden having a resurgent season from last year, which seemed to be a down year. He's back. He's back to scoring the ball whenever he wants to, doing his step back BS all over the Phoenix Suns, I might add. And then he did it again last night into it against the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
Which is funny enough because Malik Beasley, he was on, you know that streamer Neon? Yes. I just saw a clip.
Yeah.
He was on his podcast and he said something like his live stream, and he said that James Harden was easy to guard. That was 2 weeks ago. And then Harden dropped 50 on them.
See, like, why would you go and say something like that?
He was like, we got a Sark Thompson for you, my boy. And then he literally dropped 50 on them. Why would you ever trash talk James Harden? It's like you're easy to guard, blah, blah, blah. It's James Harden. It's literally James Harden, one of the best scorers the game has ever seen. What do you mean he's easy to guard? Ricky Rubio used to literally guard him backwards. He would literally stand behind Harden just so he wouldn't do a step back three.
And Josh Hart was putting his hands behind his back to
In
avoid
the
fouls.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
The fact that he said he's easy to guard, that's just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
I was sitting there at the clip staring at it for a minute. I was like, there's no way he just said that, right?
Yeah, you got to be careful when you mix your words with James Harden. But to be completely honest, I think if there's another team that's going to hop out of the play-in towards that 5 or 6 seed, maybe even change spots with the Rockets, I think it's going to be the Timberwolves because Anthony Edwards is going to will this team forward. I think regardless, he's going to start producing a little bit more, and I think they're just going to win enough games to climb out of this play-in. But that's only if the Rockets continue to slide. I mean, the Rockets have had success throughout the season. Why is it now that they're struggling? Do you think? I mean,
dude, I have no idea. I do not really know why the Rockets they're just losing games. Like it's how the Pistons last year were like they genuinely were competitive, and every game that they played was close. Like, they were up on the Celtics last year because I watched this game. It was during their stretch of losing. They were up 20 on the Celtics last year in the TD Garden. The Celtics came back and won by, 7. And that was, they were up by 20 in the third quarter or something like that. And the Celtics came back, blew them out in the second half of the game. They won by, 7 or so. And the Pistons just couldn't win a game last year. And I think that's what's happening with the Rockets right now. They'll be fine, in my opinion. And quite honestly, I think Golden State's going to slide up to 5. I think 1, 2, 3, and 4, Oklahoma City, the Lakers, Denver, and Memphis, those are going to stay the top 4. I really think if anything happens, Memphis slides out of there, Golden State slides up. And I think the Clippers will take that 6th spot, and then it's going to be between Memphis and LA for me. I think Memphis is going to fall a little bit, and I think the LA Clippers are going to rise, and it's going to be between them. Golden State's going to shift up to 5, or up to 4 or 5, I say, and then Houston will fall or stay at 5 as it is, and then it'll be between LA Clippers, Memphis, and the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, well, the Rockets, they do have a pretty easy part of their schedule coming up. They play the Pelicans twice. They play the Magic, the Suns, the Mavericks, the Bulls, the Sixers.
I mean, the Mavericks is like an easy win at this point. They don't have Clay. They don't have Kyrie. They don't have Anthony Davis. They don't have Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively. You're not. If I'm the Mavericks, I'm just taking the season as a wash. I would trade Anthony Davis in the offseason. I'd probably look for Kyrie moves in the offseason.
I don't think you can trade Anthony Davis in the offseason if you're the Mavericks because you just traded Luka for him. You got to have him out on the court before you trade him for anything.
They did for 40 minutes. You see that?
Okay. For 40 minutes.
He was the best player on the court, too, for those 40 minutes.
He was. He played so well.
By far, he was the best player on the court.
Yeah.
I know, all jokes aside, Anthony Davis, I think it's in Dallas's best interest to trade him this summer because, look at the pattern. Injury. Same with Joel Embiid. The Philadelphia has to move on from that. The process has been going on since I was literally 12 years old. I'm now turning 20 in a week.
Yeah.
Come on. Is it really a process? I think it's more of a failed experiment at this point because no way a process has been taking this long. That's been going on since 2016. And it's 2025. It's almost been 10 years. The process is over. It's a failure at this point. Stop calling it that. Philadelphia, keep Maxey, trade Embiid, and see what you can do for there because, damn, y'all stink. And trade Paul George. It's just bad. Philadelphia, you need to move those guys because they're not going to produce next season. I just don't think so.
Yeah, and maybe Paul George needs to get some more attention on his body in the offseason. I know he hasn't been playing super well because he's been kind of hurt, but kind of hurt isn't really an excuse for the 2 biggest stars on your team when they need to produce. So
he told Joel that drugs help. So
Jesus.
Maybe Joel could take something that'll help him. that Paul George takes.
They don't
And
have.
maybe they'll get to play.
They don't have medicine that good. I don't think.
Yeah, they can't fix Joel Embiid. Are you kidding me?
No,
dude. Remember way back when Philly had Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid running the show, and they were just so great, and they still couldn't win. I'm sorry, Philadelphia. If they weren't winning then, they're not gonna win now.
Yeah, I mean, people felt really good about those Sixers teams.
Those Sixers team were nasty with J.J. Redick, Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris still on that squad, Joel Embiid. They had Robert Covington on their team at one point. T.J. McConnell was on that team.
Yeah.
My gosh, that Sixers team was actually good. That was competent. They were great basketball to watch, and it's just a shit show. No, it's bad.
It really sucks, but they'll get a pick, right? Don't they have their pick? Do they? It's actually a good question.
Ooh, I actually don't know. They should. I know Brooklyn has their pick in 2027. That's top 10 protected though, and then
that protection's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, protection's looking really good right now. I think they have their own pick because they haven't traded for. If anyone has their pick, it's Houston. Sorry, Brooklyn.
Yeah, well,
because of that James Harden trade.
Here's what I'll say. I don't think you're going to be able to trade Joel Embiid or Paul George in the offseason unless you're going to pay for a lot of those contracts, out of pocket like that. What do you do if you're the Sixers? Do you just try to add wood to the fire? Do you what do you try to sign someone else? Give it a go next year healthy?
I think to get off Paul George, they might have to add a first-round pick or something to get off that contract. I mean, dude, someone's bound to take him. Someone is bound to take him.
Yeah.
And Joel Embiid, a team's going to take a risk on a former MVP. Like, if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I'll try.
Probably not. Yeah, but the thing is, take a risk is not the price tag you're looking for Joel Embiid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. It's more. It's a bigger risk than just the word itself. Than probably people imagine. Like, taking a risk on Joel Embiid is more of a hassle than a.
Because it's not you're risking injuries. He's gonna get hurt. It's just he's got to be healthy at the right time.
You're just risking your the future of your franchise.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah. We got a little bit away from it, but there's one other team that I wanted to talk about. The Pistons are super hot. Ooh. Besides getting cooked last night. But prior to that, they had won 12 of their last 15 games. It's been a lot of W's on the Pistons schedule at the moment. I have looked. Not all those teams are necessarily competent. There's a lot of the lower part of the Eastern Conference that the Pistons played.
It's all right.
But
it's okay.
That's fine. Because you know what? They're still doing fine. They're doing fine. They're sitting at 6 in the East, 35-28. They have space to move up if the Pacers maybe, keep trudging along at around 500 and the Pistons keep playing well. They could even get to the 5 seed. You know what I find interesting is last year in the playoffs, we didn't have Dame and Giannis playing for the Bucks. And, there's been a lot of talk. There's, Knicks, Celtics, Cavs. Everyone loves those 3 teams. Giannis went and won the chip by himself, almost. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday played a big part. But Giannis could easily knock out one of those teams in the playoffs, just thinking about it right now.
You just love bringing up the Giannis championship.
I'm just saying. Bro, that was
no, you're right,
utter dominance.
You are right, though. Last year, the Bucks got screwed over. Giannis got hurt in the playoffs, and he missed the entire thing. And then Dame got hurt in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's just they couldn't go anywhere with just Damian Lillard. I mean, we saw that in Portland. It doesn't work. They also didn't have the team perfect around Damian Lillard to just have Dame carry the show. They need Giannis big time. I wouldn't count them out. You never know what Giannis and Damian Lillard can do in the playoffs. I mean, we haven't really seen anything from them in the playoffs because they didn't get a chance to. And I feel like people are just kind of writing them off and not really thinking about them, but they're definitely a team to watch come playoff time because they're a better half-court offense than they are on the fast break.
Yeah, and I'd be interested to see if, the Pacers and Pistons switch spots possibly coming up. You could have a 4-5 first round matchup, Bucks Pistons. The
That's
Pistons
awesome.
kind of the up and coming young team. The Bucks, they've been around the block, certainly, right?
Oh yeah.
Like who would you even take in that series? Because now it comes down to defensively, how do they match up and how do they deal with Giannis? The Pistons, they can do a tremendous job against specific players playing team defense, and they are athletic, and they're fast and they're strong, but Giannis is a whole different breed. Do they have someone for him?
It's kind of hard. Depends on how you want Isaiah Stewart to kind of go about everything.
Yeah, I know, right?
You wanted to be that bad guy and just get ejected with any game, then yeah, they have a good chance. But my full honest opinion, the Pistons are gonna shit the bed come playoff time because they haven't been there in God knows how long. So, regardless of who they play in the first round, unless it's one of the weaker Eastern Conference teams,
like if they,
I just don't see them winning their series.
What about like the Pacers?
No, the Pacers would kill them. The Pacers would kill them. The Pacers' offense is nasty. I love watching the Pacers play basketball because their offense is insane.
It's interesting. We should hold on to these receipts come playoff time because
we should.
If the Pistons actually end up making some noise, this could be bad for you.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. I mean, they're gonna make the playoffs for the first time with this squad. That doesn't happen unless you're the Phoenix Suns and you get to the finals and you blow a 2-0 lead. Shout out 2021 Suns. I feel like Jack. Why'd I do that?
Shouting out your
Gosh, whatever. But yeah, the Pistons, they just don't have that playoff experience, and they're not gonna go anywhere when they get there. They could win like 2 games. That's what I'll give them.
Yeah, it's not as exciting in the East. The West has so many different storylines. You could end up playing a play-in team that's legit. You know what I mean? That could really cause some problems.
Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they just need to get into the play-in. They're 2 of the greatest playoff performers the game's ever seen.
We could end up watching, the Thunder against the Suns in the first round.
You could very well see Phoenix beat the Thunder in the first round. If they don't have Chet Holmgren, that's a serious factor in the series. I mean, it's going to come down to the health of the Thunder. The Suns could definitely knock out the Thunder in the first round. The Suns could definitely beat any given team in a 7-game series, but it just comes down to how hard they're going to try on defense come playoff time and how much effort they're going to put forth in boxing out and doing all the little things. And we've seen Devin Booker be very frustrated recently because the team is not doing the little things. And Kevin Durant said last night or 2 days ago that him and Coach Bud does things differently the way that he wants to do it sometimes, and it's vice versa. But they're working together on fixing that. Kevin Durant is probably going to get traded this offseason, this summer. That's a report. The report has been he is going to get traded this offseason. How can you even know that right now? Who knows? They could go on a crazy playoff run. Genuinely, anything can happen with this Phoenix Suns team. They can miss the playoffs, or they could go to the conference finals. It's so weird.
Hey, you seem to have a lot more faith than I do in the Phoenix Suns. I think they could definitely beat any team on any given night, but I don't know about a 7-game series. The Thunder, I think, would probably manhandle the Suns in a 7-game series.
No. I have zero faith. I actually don't think they're gonna do anything, but I'm saying they could go out and do that. I don't think that's gonna happen. I've watched them all season. They stink. This is one of the worst Suns teams I've ever watched in my life, and I've seen really bad Suns teams. Those teams had more camaraderie than this year's squad does. So I don't really have a lot of hope. I'm just saying they very well could do that when you have Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant on your roster. Well, I think that's just gonna do it for today. We're gonna throw in some clips of Guess That NBA Player. Thank you guys for watching Above the Rim today, and as always, peace.
All right, we got Jack here for another Guess the NBA Player. We've got the teams that they've played on throughout their career. You just have to guess who it is. This person is a former NBA player, retired in 2021. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, stayed there for a while, and spent a year in Indianapolis before going to the Timberwolves for 3 years, back to the Hawks, played on the Celtics for about half a season, and ended up retiring after playing on Milwaukee. Who is this player?
Is that the most niche all-star in NBA history, Jeff Teague?
That is exactly who that is. You got that right off the bat.
Bang!
So what gave it away here?
Well, I was thinking about the Hawks. At first, I was thinking about Al Horford or Kyle Korver, but Al Horford's not retired. And then he went to Indianapolis, and I was like, okay, he played in Indianapolis. And then you said Celtics, and I was like, wait a minute. I know my buyout Celtics.
There you go. Good job, Jack. That was Jeff Teague.
All right, James. I have another guess at NBA player by their team. Let's see if you can get this one.
Okay.
It's really, really, really hard.
All right. There we go.
He got drafted in 2008 by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Spent some time there, then he went over to Cleveland. And then in 2022, he went to the Miami Heat. Who is this player?
So they played with Cleveland for a long time?
Yeah.
From 2000 when to where?
I'm not telling you.
So drafted by the Grizzlies?
Timberwolves.
Oh, sorry, Timberwolves. Sorry. I don't know why I thought that. Drafted by the Timberwolves. Spent a lot of time in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Retired where again?
He's on the Miami Heat.
Oh, current player.
Yeah.
All right. This is a current Miami Heat player?
Yeah.
What's okay. What? I just don't know what's so funny, which is why I'm alarmed.
You don't know this?
Well, now I'm nervous. I'm getting nervous right now.
Just guess.
You said it was really hard.
Yeah, it's super hard.
What do you mean?
Think about it.
I can't. I'm just trying to think of like who's on the Heat that's like wouldn't be.
Do you want a hint?
No. All right, James. Here's your final answer. What is it? Who is this player?
Give him a hint. Let's give him a hint.
Shut up. James, give us your final answer. Who is this NBA player?
I don't know.
Kevin Love.
Oh my God, Kevin Love, bro. I was thinking niche players. I should have known with the. Damn, he really only spent
This is a great clip.
1 year in Minnesota.
No, I didn't say how many years he spent in Minnesota. I said he got drafted by Minnesota in 2009. Then he went to Cleveland. And I told you he went to Cleveland for some time. And then he went to Miami Heat in 2022.
We're back with Jack for another Guess That NBA Player. I'm going to give you the teams that this player played on, and you're going to have to guess who it is. This player was drafted by the Clippers before spending a year in Miami. Spent a lot of time in Los Angeles with the Lakers. Then he played on Dallas and retired in 2013 with the Clippers. Who is this NBA player, Jack?
That would be Matthew Barnes.
It is not.
What?
Matthew Barnes.
It's not Matt Barnes?
Mm-mm.
I was so confident. That's so embarrassing. Who is who? Wait, say it one more time.
Drafted by the Clippers.
What year?
In 1999.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Do you want to hear all of them again?
Yeah, keep going.
Drafted by the Clippers. A year in Miami, full season. Couple years, not even a couple. A lot of years in Los Angeles with the Lakers. 1 year with the Mavericks. 1 year with the Clippers. Retiring with the Clippers in 2013.
Why do I want to say Jason Kidd? That doesn't even make sense. It's not Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was a son for the longest time. It's not Jason Kidd. Man. Oh, this is a tough. God damn.
That was my guess.
It's an older guy too.
An older guy. Do you want another hint?
Has he made the All-Star team? Has he
Kobe.
played with Kobe?
Played
Okay.
with Kobe. He spent
Oh,
7 years on the Lakers.
Lamar Odom.
That is exactly who we're talking about, Lamar Odom.
That's all I needed. He played with Kobe.
And we are back with Austin for another Guess That NBA Player. We're going to give Austin just the teams they played for. He's going to have to figure out who it is. We can give him some hints along the way, depending on what he needs. But first of all, this player was drafted in 2004 to the Boston Celtics, where they spent a bit of time, where they then went to the Memphis Grizzlies, where they also spent a bit of time, a little more than in Boston. And then they retired, playing one season with the Pelicans in 2018. Austin, who is this NBA player?
Celtics, Grizzlies,
Pelicans.
That's weird.
Played with the Celtics from 2004 to 2010. And played with the Grizzlies from 2010 to 2017.
Oh, I know who this is. This is is this Tony Allen?
That is absolutely who this is. This is Tony
Dang.
Allen.
Oh, Tony Allen. 3-and-D. I knew that one.
All right, James, back with another Guess the NBA Player based on the teams they played for in their career. This player is retired. He was a top 3 pick way back when. Spent his first 4 seasons with Utah before going to Oklahoma, then played with the Knicks for a little bit, and then played for the Trailblazers, then the Celtics, then the Trailblazers again, then the Celtics again, and is now retired. James, who is that NBA player?
Can I ask when they were drafted?
They were drafted in 2011.
2011. And they, sorry, you said current or
Retired.
retired now. And they retired when?
After the 2022 season. I would say they were more blackballed from the league.
Blackballed from the league? It's drafted in 2011, top 3 pick?
Would you like a hint?
Sure, give me another hint.
He changed his name
Oh.
while he was playing.
I mean, I only know of one person that changed their name while they were playing. Meta World Peace, of course. But that's not this player. I don't know who else has changed their name. He's not the player that I'm guessing, but that's the only person I've known who's changed their name.
Final guess.
Final guess? Doug, who's changed their name? What kind of fact is that? During COVID?
No, that's not going in.
James, who is your final guess?
Sorry. Can you say the teams one more time? I've lost all knowledge on this.
Okay. Drafted by Utah in 2011. Spent his first 4 seasons there before playing for the Thunder. Then he had a stint in New York, and then he played for the Trailblazers, then the Celtics, then went back to the Trailblazers, then went back to the Celtics.
He went from the Trailblazers to the Celtics? Dude, I don't know. You're going to have to lay it on me.
Enes Kanter Freedom.
He was a top 3 pick?
He was a dog at Kentucky.
Enes Kanter? Jesus Christ. Motherfucker.
Back again with Austin, blind guessing an NBA player based on the teams they played with. This is a retired player, very niche role player. He was drafted in the 2nd round by the Detroit Pistons in 2009. Played there for a while, had a little bit of a stint in Boston. Then he played a season in Utah before retiring with the Golden State Warriors in 2019. Austin, who is this player?
Repeat the teams.
He started with Detroit.
Detroit, a 2nd-round pick.
Yep, in 2009. Then he played 3 seasons with Boston with Isaiah Thomas. He was a part of those Boston Celtics teams. Then he spent a season in Utah before playing his last NBA season in Golden State, where he actually had a game winner one of those games.
Avery Bradley.
It is not Avery Bradley.
Is it?
Very niche role player. I'll actually be very
It's one of the
surprised
Morris
if you get
twins.
this. Not one of the Morris twins.
The only thing I can think of is like,
He's a power forward from Sweden.
Bro, what?
Are you ready for this? Jonas Jerebko.
Jonas Jerebko. Shut up, Jack. Who the cares?
Can we keep that and just bleep it? Please, can we keep that and just bleep it?
Yeah, we can.
What kind of shit, dude? Are you kidding me?
told you he wasn't gonna get
Oh my God, Haskell.